Dreams and the unconscious mind may explain behavior, but they are difficult to measure objectively, so some psychologists asked a bold question: why not focus only on what can be seen, tested, and verified? Behavior itself? Hi, I am Girish Krishnani, and you are watching 5-Minute Learnings. In the previous video, we explored psychoanalysis and the hidden forces of the unconscious mind. Today, we shift to a completely different approach: behaviorism, a school of thought that focused only on observable behavior. Behaviorism emerged as a response to the lack of scientific rigor in early psychology. Concepts like dreams or unconscious desires are difficult to measure objectively. So behaviorists argued that psychology should focus only on observable and testable behavior. One of the key figures in this movement was John B. Watson, who proposed that behavior is shaped by environmental stimuli and learning. Behaviorism explains learning through three major processes. The first is classical conditioning, introduced by Ivan Pavlov. In classical conditioning, a neutral stimulus becomes associated with a meaningful one, leading to a learned response. Pavlov demonstrated this through his famous experiments, where dogs learned to associate a bell with food, eventually responding to the bell alone. Watson extended this idea to humans in the famous Little Albert experiment, where a young child was conditioned to fear a harmless white rat by pairing it with a loud noise. This showed that even emotional responses could be learned through association. The second is operant conditioning, developed by B. F. Skinner, building on the law of effect proposed by Edward Thorndike. Thorndike suggested that behaviors followed by satisfying outcomes are more likely to be repeated. Skinner expanded this idea through controlled experiments with rats and pigeons. In these experiments, animals learned to press a lever or peck a key to receive food rewards, demonstrating how reinforcement strengthens behavior over time. This showed that behavior is shaped by its consequences. The third is observational learning, introduced by Albert Bandura. Bandura demonstrated that people can learn simply by observing others, without direct reinforcement. In his famous Bobo doll experiment, children who observed aggressive behavior were more likely to imitate it. This showed that learning is not only based on direct experience, but also on observation and imitation. Together, these three processes explain how behavior is acquired and shaped. However, behaviorism also has its limitations. By focusing only on observable behavior, it largely ignores internal mental processes such as thoughts, emotions, and decision-making. Critics argue that humans are not just passive responders to external stimuli, but active thinkers who interpret their experiences. Despite these criticisms, behaviorism made a major contribution to psychology. It introduced scientific rigor, objective measurement, and experimental methods. It also laid the foundation for modern approaches like behavior modification and cognitive behavioral therapy. So behaviorism raises an important question: can we fully understand human behavior by observing actions alone, or do we also need to understand the mind behind them? That's all for today in Psychology Basics. In the next video, we will explore cognitive psychology, which brought the mind back into focus in a more scientific and measurable way. Hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to 5-Minute Learnings, and do remember to hit the bell icon to get notified of the new content. Thanks for watching.